Today, we're going to crack open a book that's sold over 15 million copies. It's a book that people either swear by or, well, have some serious questions about its simple promise that you can actually change your life just by changing your thoughts. We're breaking down Norman Vincent Peale's The Power of Positive Thinking to really get a handle on the practical system he offers and figure out why it still clicks with so many people. So this thing comes out way back in 1952, and it becomes an absolute phenomenon. And it's not just a bunch of feel-good ideas, Peale presents it as a hands-on toolkit, a system of real techniques designed to help literally anyone live a more successful and satisfying life. And let's be honest, that promise is just as powerful today as it was back then. Right out of the gate, Peale hits you with this incredibly bold statement. He's basically saying that defeat isn't something that just happens to you, it's something you agree to. It's a choice. And that simple, kind of jarring idea forces us to ask a really tough question. I mean, seriously, think about it. If you're really up against it, how do you just decide not to be defeated? It sounds almost too simple, maybe even impossible. Well, digging into Peale's answer to that exact question is what this whole explainer is about. Okay, so to get that answer, we first have to understand what this book is. And Peale is super clear about this. He didn't write a piece of literature to be admired on a shelf. He calls it a practical, direct action, personal improvement manual. It's designed to be a toolkit, plain and simple, to help you build the life you actually want. And the promises he makes, they're huge. He claims that if you use his principles, you can get peace of mind, better health, literally a never-ending flow of energy, and even a real sense of control over your life. Now, to Peale, these weren't just wild claims. He saw them as totally achievable results that he'd witnessed over and over again. So where does this journey begin? Well, the first and biggest enemy that Peale says we have to conquer is what he calls the inferiority complex. It's that nagging feeling of inadequacy, that little voice of self-doubt that holds so many of us back from what we could be. You see how he sets this up, right? It's this epic battle going on inside your own head. On one side, you've got inadequacy, which just sabotages your dreams and drains you. But on the other side, you have genuine self-confidence, and that unlocks your potential and leads to real success. Peale argues that winning this internal fight is the absolute first step to winning at anything else in life. And this brings us to what might be one of the most critical ideas in the whole book. Peale quotes a famous psychiatrist to make this powerful point. The way you look at a problem is actually more important than the problem itself. A negative attitude can crush you before you even start, while the right attitude can totally flip the script. So if your attitude is more important than the facts, what does that really mean? Well, it leads straight to the central theme of the whole book, that the world you live in, your day-to-day reality, isn't shaped by what's going on outside. It's shaped by the thoughts that you let live inside your head. But let's get specific. What exactly is positive thinking? For Peale, it's not about putting on a happy face and ignoring your problems. That's a big misconception. He defines it as the practical application of faith. It's a structured system for using spiritual power to solve real-world problems and create good things in your life. So how do you do it? What's the secret sauce for getting rid of that nagging self-doubt? He says the key is to literally flood your mind with thoughts of faith and confidence. Just fill it up until there's no room left for anything else. And he tells this great story that shows exactly how this works. Okay, so Peale talks about this salesman who was just miserable, totally crippled by insecurity and about to quit his job. But he knew he had to do something, so he came up with this really simple, direct plan. He started clipping these little cards with powerful, positive messages all over the dashboard of his car, where he'd have to see them all day long. And that is the method in a nutshell. By seeing and repeating powerful thoughts like this one over and over, he was actively retraining his brain. He wasn't just hoping to feel better. He was systematically kicking out the old, defeated thoughts and replacing them with new, powerful ones. And guess what? It totally changed his results. Now, this whole idea of systematically changing your thoughts goes way beyond just clipping cards to your dashboard. Peale lays out a very specific 3-step formula for applying this power to go after any goal you have. It's a process you can actually repeat to turn something you want into something that's real. Okay, so here's how it works. Step 1 is Prayerize. You basically make sure your goal is a good and right thing to pursue. Step 2 is Picturize. You create this super clear, vivid picture in your mind of you already achieving that goal. And finally, step 3 is Actualize. You get to work. You put in the effort,
letting that powerful mental picture guide you and pull that reality toward you.
And this all builds up to another one of Peele's core principles, which is almost like a law of nature in his view. What you deeply, truly expect is what you tend to get. He believed your constant expectation acts like this powerful force that literally shapes what happens to you. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's like night and day. When you expect the worst, Peele says you release this repulsive force that actually pushes good things away. But when you expect the best, you release a magnetic force of attraction that starts pulling all the pieces for success right to you. It's all about what forces you're setting in motion with your mind.
And again, this isn't just theory. Peele gives you a literal 10-step plan to build this confidence from the ground up. We won't go through all 10, but let's look at some of the heavy hitters. You've got to create a clear mental picture of yourself succeeding. Then, anytime a negative thought pops in your head, you have to consciously say a positive one out loud to cancel it out. And a big one, stop building up obstacles in your imagination. It's a super practical game plan.
You know, when you boil it all down, Peele is really tapping into an ancient piece of wisdom, something people like the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius were saying centuries ago. Your life is just a reflection of your thoughts. If you want to change your life, you have to start by changing your mind. So, in the end, this whole book is really a challenge, isn't it? It challenges us to take charge of what's going on in our own heads. So, let's make this personal. Based on everything we've just talked about, what is the one negative thought that you have on repeat, the one you could decide to start changing right now?